a video or live stream rather. I decided to, it literally just like popped in my head like a few minutes ago to do this. I decided to kind of elaborate, I suppose, on my slightly older, I mean they're not that old, I mean the first part is kind of old, I think it came out like 3 or 4 months ago, but the second part, which was a little more elaborate on the same topic, is relatively new. I think that one came out a few days ago, if not it just turned into a week since I've uploaded that video. So if you guys haven't watched that video, it's a more it's a more simplified version of what I'm doing here, even though it took a little while to make, more than I ever would have anticipated to make. I think it took like an hour and a half just to like edit those 2 videos, and then like trim and cut and add text and all that, and then to save it took like 30 minutes and then to upload it took like I think another 15 to 30 minutes. So yeah, it took me a while for sure, but it was kind of worth it. And hey, what's up, man? But in this video I wanted to kind of elaborate on what I know on top of what those videos were. So if you don't want to hear me talk, then just watch those other videos. It's just background music and words on the screen explaining what I'm about to do now. But if not, stick around. So also let me know if this is somewhat helpful, or if not, you know, because I'm technically doing this so I can help those who may not know. And just to disclaim, I'm not an expert or a pro in this game at all. Just FYI. I would say I'm decent, but I'm nowhere near professional level. So, of course, if there's other techniques you know, and they're better than what I do know, then, you know, feel free to still use those and ignore this video. But if you have no knowledge whatsoever and you're like very new to this game, then, you know, stick around and maybe you can learn something. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show like the 2 different types of characters that for me I have to like change the tactics a little bit for this type of thing. So I'm going to showcase real quick, I'm going to show off what it looks like obviously when you don't extend the combos whatsoever, and I'm talking about auto combos obviously. So this is just you literally pressing or spamming light attacks. I'm using the PS4, so like for me light attacks is square, medium is triangle, and heavy is circle. But obviously if you have it on the different consoles or platforms, it'll be different buttons or keys depending on where you play. But that's why I'm gonna try my very best to label it as like the technical term, which is like light, medium, and heavy attack, instead of saying the buttons that they're associated with on my platform, so you guys don't get confused in case you don't have it on PS4. Even though it shouldn't be that confusing, but I'm just gonna avoid it a little bit. So I'm gonna show it one more time, and this is when you don't extend it. So the reason why, let me start off by saying the reason why you wanna extend the combo in any way you can in the first place is so that you can be able to stun your opponents, so that you can in turn use your supers, and that goes for all of the levels, like level 1, 2, and 3 supers. So I'm also going to show you guys what it looks like when you do stun the opponent, and what it looks like after you stun them, how easy it is to connect the supers. Because as you can see, I'm going to try to use a super now. I'll use a level 1 when you don't, you know, extend the combo, and you'll see that it just won't land. Now the only rare occasions it'll land is if you're pinning them against the wall. But let's say I'm on this side and my opponent is on the left side and I'm on the right, and I just go ahead and don't extend it and do a level 1 super. You see, the only reason why it connected that little bit at the end is because he wasn't blocking. But you know, you want to hit full force with your supers. You know, you want to do the most amount of damage you can, because you can heal. It's true, you can heal a lot of it back, but there's a certain point that you can't heal any of it back, and you want to do as much damage as possible to stress your opponent out and make them, you know, do more mistakes. Sometimes if an opponent is very stressed, they're more susceptible to make more mistakes, which in turn makes it easier for you to hit them and land your moves. So now I'm going to show you, again, I already showcased pretty much majority of this in my older videos. I just want to say real quick, there's a guy here who's watching me called Vegeta-sama, and he told me hello clown because I'm using Goku, so he's being in character. I just thought I should point that out real quick. It was kind of funny. That's why I was chuckling like way earlier, like 4 minutes ago I think it was, or it was funny. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I already showcased majority of this and the other 2 videos, and I'll try to have those 2 videos linked in the description below of this live stream here. But so that way, if you're watching this when the live stream is way over, and you still want to watch those other 2, or haven't watched them, whatever, then I'll have them in the description below. But basically, like I said, I've already kind of, you know, demonstrated this kind of thing before with the other 2. But I'm going to showcase all of the techniques that I know. Obviously, there's way more out there, way more effective, if you will, more professional level, if you will, but I'm just showing you what I know, and like I said earlier, I'm nowhere near professional level. So the first one I'm going to show you, there's like different levels to it, because the third one that I'm about to showcase is like the hardest to pull off, and the first one is the easiest, and then the second one's like in between, you know. So for me personally, I don't know why, but for me personally, the second one is the hardest to pull off. I don't know why. It's just when I try it, it just doesn't get executed as well. For some reason, I don't know why. So I'm going to showcase the first extension. Now, the first one's deceiving, like I pointed out on my previous video where I talked about this one, that it looks like I didn't extend it when in fact I technically kind of did, because you'll see they get stunned. And if you were paying attention earlier, I didn't stun the opponent. So I'll showcase it real quick. So this is the first method. So as you can see there, when the opponent is dragging on the floor like that, of course it's very fast paced, so it's not like you'll notice it right away if you're not paying. Sorry, my dad was there. But what was I saying? So hold on a second, guys, real quick. Let me see. Okay, so I'm basically going to show you guys how to extend a combo like I was saying earlier, and that was the first one. Sorry if I pause this real quick, guys. I will try to hurry up, because someone just texted me real quick and kind of need to answer this. My gosh. Okay, also guys, as a disclaimer, if you guys hear like extra bits of noises here and there, it's because I have my dogs around, and I do have a fan right up next to me, so in case you guys hear extra noises, just letting you guys know. I hope they don't become an annoyance throughout this live stream, but we'll see. So like I was explaining earlier, you notice when the opponent is being dragged on the ground, that means they get stunned. While they're dragging, that's the time you want, or in other words, when they're stunned, is when you want to land your supers. So before I demonstrate what it looks like when you connect a super, actually no, I will do it with each of the auto combo extensions. So I'm going to demonstrate it one more time. That's the first method. So as you can see, they're being dragged on the ground, and in case you guys are wondering, it does also work when you're not across the screen. Oops, I messed that up. FYI, I'm probably going to mess up quite a bit, just so you guys know. There we go. So it does work, as you guys can see. I'm going to showcase it one more time. That's definitely not how you do it. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so it does work on each side. Okay, and now I'm going to showcase with a super. I'll showcase 2 different supers. Why am I messing that up? Hold on a second. What? How did that not land? Alright, I'm gonna try that again because, as you guys can see, I did not use a super there. Nope, that's the wrong one. See, the other one I was about to do is the one that's engraved in my brain, because that's like my favorite one and the hardest to pull off technically, but for me it's not that hard anymore. But these are, for some reason. There we go. Okay, so that's, as you can see, it connected perfectly fine. I'll try it a little bit more. Let's try it a different super. What? How did that not... Okay, hold on. There we go. Okay. So that worked perfectly fine. And let's try a level 3 super. There we go. Perfect. First try, too. Nice. Alright, so as you guys can see, it works perfectly fine. So that's the first method. And in order to do that, when you're in the air, when you're like in that state, when you're up there, you have to press, instead of just mashing light attacks, you have to press light, medium, and heavy attacks consecutively very fast. As you guys can see, when it didn't work before, it's because I was either too slow or I wasn't pressing them in that order. So I'll do it really quick. See, as you can see, you have to press them pretty fast, all 3 buttons that are associated with those attacks for it to work. But if you're on your toes and you're keeping track and you're like light, medium, heavy, then you know you're gonna get it. Okay, so that's how you do that one. Next one is where the second method is where on the second hit, which for this Goku, for the purpose of this demonstration, for this Goku is that kick right there. Another thing I want to point out before I keep going is that on the other videos, oops, I didn't mean to do that. But on the other video, I have it all in slow motion, which I figure in a game that's fast-paced like this is kind of helpful, especially if you can't see it, because it can be a little tricky when a game is fast-paced. So that's the only downside with this live stream, that even though you can hear me talking about it and trying to explain it, I can't quite manipulate the video as easily as when, you know, I just record it with raw footage and edit it after, you know what I mean? So that's the only downside, so just letting you guys know. But anyway, so on the second hit in the air for this Goku, Super Saiyan Goku, this one right here, is a kick. When he does the kick, which again I know it's fast-paced, but you know, practice makes perfect. You guys need to practice these methods, especially the last one I'm about to show you, because it's really hard to pull off. But if you keep practicing and you keep at it, you will get it, trust me. If I can get it, think about it like this, if I can get it, someone who's not proficient in fighting games, you guys can get it too. So, on the second hit, you want to, well, okay, another disclaimer, wow, there's a lot, is that I'm a D-pad user when it comes to fighting games. I don't like joysticks. Don't know why, but I'm not a fan of it. And that's kind of old school-ish, kind of, even though they had joysticks in arcade machines. But when consoles came to be a thing, and fighting games were in the early days, there wasn't really much, you know, joystick, except for maybe PlayStation and Xbox. But when it came to Nintendo, they didn't have joysticks at the time. They only had D-pads. And obviously that's because it wasn't a 3D platform, so there was no need for a joystick since you only go left and right, up and down, right? So D-pad was perfect for that, but as games evolved, you guys know already the spiel. I'm not going to explain into it, but so I'm not a joystick user. I'm not a fan. I tried it before in multiple different fighting games, and it's just not for me. So if you guys don't use joystick, then this may be a little harder for you guys, but definitely not impossible, because my brother uses joysticks and he can pull it off. I mean, it takes him a little, you know, a little more of a hassle for him to pull it off, but he can pull it off. So just letting you guys know as well that it is possible on joysticks with all these methods as well. But in all honesty, I think that D-pad is 10 times easier if you want to do this, in my opinion, from what I've experienced and from what I've seen with my brother. That's just what I think. But anyway, so with the D-pad, like I was saying earlier, when you're on the air, when you hit him on the second hit, which obviously I didn't demonstrate it there, second hit for this Goku is that kick, as you guys saw there. When it's that kick, you guys would want to do, in this method, is go up on the D-pad and just mash light attacks. That's all you're going to do. So I'm going to demonstrate it real quick. There you go. As you guys can see, that one looks a lot less deceiving and more of an extension than the first method I showed you, and it still stuns them. So I'm gonna do it one more time. Again, these are all in slow-mo in the other videos. You can see you just go up on the D-pad and just mash. All of this is just mashing light attacks, keep in mind, because it's just auto combos, okay? So I'm gonna do it one more time. There you go, see? And as you can see, they still get stunned. So you have to go right here and then press up there. See, I know it's really hard to see it, but trust me, it's possible, guys. You guys can do it. So one more time, press up on the D-pad, right there, and then there you go. Now I'm going to showcase 3 supers, so both level 1 and 1 level 3. So let's see if I can pull this out. There we go. That's 1 level 1. Now let's do another level 1. Alright, that's another level 1, and let's demonstrate it with a level 3. And there we go. So as you can see, it works very perfectly. Now keep in mind as well, guys, that when it comes to these auto combo extensions, timing is perfect. Now one thing I didn't explain in my previous videos where I don't commentate and while explaining this method and stuff, is that when you want when supers, again, it's all about timing, but when you see them, as soon as they get dragged on the ground, that's like the most, you know, likely scenario for you to actually activate your supers. But what if some of your supers, especially your level 3s, can only be activated when you get on the ground? That's easy. I figured it out through experience as well, because I didn't do it at first, but I later learned that if you focus on your opponent like this, if you focus on your opponent landing on the ground and you don't focus on your own character at all, there's a 50% chance you will miss every time, even though you auto-extended your combo, or you extend your auto combo. But I learned that instead of paying attention to your opponent when they get dragged on the ground, look at your character, and as soon as they land, as soon as your character lands, that's when you want to activate it. So I'll try my very best to demonstrate exactly what I'm talking about. See, as you can see, my timing there was really bad, and I was focusing on Vegito instead of Goku. Now look at how it looks when I focus on myself and not Vegito. As you guys can see, it connected perfectly fine. I'll do it one more time so you guys can see what I'm talking about. See, that was almost really badly timed. Now look at this when I don't focus on Vegito. See? It's better timed. Trust me, guys. It's way better timed. Now, I'm going to do a level 3 just for the sake of it, so you guys can see what I'm talking about. See, I didn't focus on Goku at all that time. That was all Vegito. But look what happens when I focus on Goku instead, as soon as I land. You see, I timed it perfectly. See, that's the key to when you want to activate your supers, regardless of the level, especially if they're only activated upon landing on the ground after extending your auto combo. That's just how it works. That's just how it is. So keep that in mind, guys. Okay? So I'm going to demonstrate the first and second method as a recap. So this is the first one. So there's the first one. And this is the second one. There's the second one. Alright. And I already demonstrated how it looks like when you connect it with each super. Now, let's focus on my favorite method, which is easily the hardest one to pull off, and definitely requires the most practice, but it is the coolest looking one. And not, for the most part, the first two works for pretty much 90% of the character roster, but the third one I'm about to showcase doesn't work on all the characters, only some of them. Now you'll learn who can do it and who can't, because for me, at the top of my head, it's kind of hard, especially if you don't know the technical terms and all that. So you'll have to play each character to really find out who can and who can't do the third method that I'm about to showcase. But you'll know once you get the hang of it, especially. But here's the third one. As you guys can see, that's the most dramatic looking one, which is another reason why I like it. And believe it or not, for me, I don't know why, but for me, it's the easiest to pull off after, I mean, granted, this is after me using this method and practicing in training mode for hours and hours on end, but after all that, for me personally, it's the easiest to pull off. I don't know why. Now, that's not to say I don't do mistakes here and there, but you know, I won't always 100% get it right, but 90% of the time I'll always get it right when I use it. So that is the third method. Now this one's really hard to explain, guys, because you guys know that in this game, a down heavy is actually an upward thing, as you guys can see. This is down heavy. So when you use down heavy, that's kind of a Punisher move, and you go upwards. So that's what you're gonna use on the second hit. So much like the second method, when you're in the air like this, you know how Goku's second hit is that kick there? Well, when you see that kick, and the purpose of just this demonstration, when you see that kick, you'll want to hit, now pay attention carefully because this is where it gets tricky. You'll want to hit down on the D-pad, heavy, and remember this is all fast paced, mind you. Down heavy, and then upwards, so press up as if you're trying to jump, and mash light attack. I know, that sounds insane, and it sounds really ridiculous. And at first glance, and like when you first hear it and you try it is insane. Trust me, it is. I struggled with this when I first learned of this. But with many practices, as you guys can see, now I can pull it off perfectly fine, at ease, with no problem. I mean, I could just do this all day. As you guys can see, it's perfectly easy. Because explaining it sounds insane, but when you do it, it clicks. You know what I mean? After explaining it, it is insane. I'm not saying it's not. It's insane, but it's definitely doable. Trust me. So right here, I'm gonna try my very best. So right here, down, up. There you go. See? There you go. So I'm gonna try one more time to explain that. Again, these other ones are in slow motion in the other videos, but for the purpose of the video, it's like this: down, heavy, up. There we go. Alright, one more time. One more time. It's a little hard to explain, but one more time. Alright, there you go. Down heavy, up. There we go. That's how we do it. You know what? Why not another time for you guys? Okay, so here we go. Once we're in the air. Down heavy, up, and light attack. There we go. One last time, because I know it's the most insane one. Once we're in the air. Down heavy, up, and light. There we go. That's all it is to it. Essentially, it's not that complicated once you see it multiple times. When you see it numerous amounts of times, it makes sense. But at first glance, it looks crazy and it doesn't make any sense. Which I understand because, like I said, I struggled with that at first. Now I'm gonna showcase the different supers. Oops, I messed that up. Hold on. I messed that up. Didn't mean to do a dragon push there. There we go. That's level 1. I'm gonna do another level 1. That's level 1 as well. And let's showcase with a level 3. Ah, I messed that up. Sorry, guys. Level 3. Level 3. Here we go. There we go. Level 3. So as you guys can see, all 3 auto combo extension methods do work perfectly fine. So that's pretty cool, to say the least. So that's basically the gist of what you want to do. Now keep in mind, guys, that the stun factor doesn't work when you do a neutral heavy. So when you just press the heavy attack and you try to follow it up with the auto combo extension, as you guys can see, it'll never work. It'll never stun them. That's just the way the mechanic of this game works. Neutral heavy just does not stun them whatsoever. So in that kind of case, you guys can auto-extend it, but instead of finishing it off with that, and when you do this as well, that's not going to work. Just keep in mind. When you guys want to do that, then just do a Z ability, kind of like this. Like that, you know? And it'll land. But for the God Fist, I suppose you'll have to hit him with a key blast and then spam the God Fist. And I messed it up. Nope, I did not mean to do that. Hold on a second. There we go, see, like that. Or if you want, I mean, you can also just... No, not like that, hold on. You can also just do that. And then hit him with that kind of super, if you want. And down heavies, guys, in case you're wondering, it does work. You can hit him with a down heavy, auto-extend that combo, and it will stun them perfectly fine. It does work. And in case you guys are also wondering, when you do a Dragon Rush to start off your combo, it also does stun the opponent. So, FYI, those two methods do work. Down heavy and Dragon Rush definitely do work. Alright, so that's pretty much how it works on how to extend combos with regular characters. But I bet you're wondering, what about characters that don't do a double jump necessarily, or can't do it that way? I'm glad you asked. Well, there's a perfectly explanation for that. Now, when it comes to these kind of characters, for the purpose of this video, Janemba is one of them, so I'll show it with Janemba. Janemba, right here, can't do an auto extension for the third method. And I'm not sure if he can do the first method. Let's see. Yes, he can. He can. As you guys can see, he can. I actually did not know that. So that's good to know. So you guys can do the first method right here, where you just spam, you know, light, medium, and heavy attack all at once. That does work, which is the first method, remember. Second method is the one I use for characters like Janemba, and you guys will see. As you can see, it stuns them perfectly fine, and it lands every time because of how Janemba is just, I don't know, built mechanically. So there you go. That's the method I use. But if you want to use the first one instead of the second one, which is the one I just used, then by all means go ahead. But I personally use the second one when it comes to characters like Janemba, which is just going up on the D-pad like that and just mash light attacks. And it'll work every time. Yes, and it does work with down heavy, perfectly fine, and Dragon Rush. It also works perfectly fine, as you can see. There, see? It stuns them, and it works perfectly fine. Okay, so I'm going to showcase them with a couple supers here and there. So let's try doing the one let's try doing both. So let's do the first method, which is the one I don't use, but if you like to use it, that's perfectly cool. So let's try that. Well, I used the wrong super, but I did use the right auto combo extension. Let's try that again with the first method here. What? How did that not work? Okay, hold on a second. I think it's because since I don't use that one, it's tripping me up low-key. There we go. There we go. And let's try showcasing it with the other auto combo extension. The second one. That's a level 3, by the way. Works perfectly fine. Alright, so that's how you do that. It's that simple, guys. It's actually simpler than the third method, because if you can't execute it with the third method, like Goku, then just use the first two. It works perfectly fine. Like I said, the first two definitely work for 90, if not 99% of the character roster in this game, but the third one, definitely not. That's more of like a 60 to 70%. So that's basically it for auto combo extensions. Now, what I'm gonna do now, for the purpose of, you know, because I just like this character and all that, I'm gonna showcase how I use Ultra Instinct Goku, because maybe you guys don't know how to use him, because he's pretty technical, I'm not gonna lie. He's pretty technical, to say the least. He's got a lot of different abilities. He got a lot of Z abilities, a lot of supers. He's got a lot of stuff going on for him. So And he's even got passive abilities too, so it's pretty crazy. So I'm going to try my best. So to finish off this live stream, if you guys enjoyed the explanation of the auto combo extensions, that's pretty much it in that topic. So I hope you guys learned something in that regard, so you guys can improve your game. Oops, sorry. Improve your game when you're fighting other people, so it'll make it easier for you guys to you know, land your supers and just overall deal more damage and maybe possibly win games as well. So as a recap, there's 3 methods. First one's easy, obviously. Second one's, you know, kind of hard, but not that hard at all. And the third one is the hardest of them all. And all these, especially the last 2, require the most practice, trust me. You won't get it overnight for sure. It might take you weeks, months, it might take you a long time. I've been there, but trust me, with hard work and perseverance, patience, it'll all be worth it, trust me. It'll definitely change the game for the better. I'm not saying you'll become a professional, but you will be more than just a worthless contender, let's put it that way. You will be a worthy contender, to say the least, that's for sure. So yeah, alright, so shifting to a little bit different topic now, and that is UI Goku. So how do I use MUI Goku? Well, this is how I use him. So he's got the weird down heavy thing where it's a 2-hitter. So if you mess that up like this, as you can see, it won't land. So you have to wait until the second hit lands, like so, and then go crazy. Okay. This might get nerfed. Oops, sorry. I don't know why I keep hitting that. This might get nerfed, but for now, this part of this video, like this little tiny segment, may be irrelevant in the future of the updates of the game. But for now, I'm still gonna explain it. Like 99% of the character roster, when you hit him up with an aura dash like this and a down heavy to extend the combo, it'll never work regardless. However, for some reason, UI Goku can totally not, as you guys can see. I don't know about you, but to me, that's insane. I mean, you could follow it up. That's crazy. So you could be at a safe distance and actually extend your combo. That's insane. They might nerf that, they might patch it, they might change it. I know. But for now, that's a thing to know. For you guys, that with UI Goku, you can extend it like so. It's crazy. But anyway, that's with down heavy and up light attack, just so you guys know. Alright guys, so let's showcase the auto combo extensions real quick. So let's do the first method. Oh. Wait a minute. Does that not work for UI Goku? Oh wait, it does. Okay. So that's the first method. Here we go with the second method. That one also works. And finally, the third method. Yes, this Goku can do that too. There we go. So there you go, guys. All 3 methods do work on UI Goku, in case you guys were wondering. But for the purpose of me showcasing this Goku, I am going to use the third method, which is that one I just did there. Alright, so one of the things you can do, well, just pretty much apply what I told you guys earlier. Do auto combo extension. Do the level 1 super. Extend it if you have more ki. 1 more bar of ki. There you go. That's beautiful. Let's see. Hold on. I did not mean to do that. Okay. Another thing you can do is just use a level 3. It works perfectly fine. And there you go. Or you can use a Z ability, but which is this one right here. That one. Now the one I just used there is a light one. The reason why you want to avoid that one is because it actually doesn't stun your opponent, as you guys can see there, and it doesn't do the most damage. So the one I do recommend, believe it or not, is the medium one, which does stun the opponent like so, and it applies more damage, as you can see. So you could do that. So we're doing that real quick. There we go. Yeah, spending a little extra ki wouldn't hurt. Alright, and let's do a level 3 with the Z ability in the air, which is the medium one. Why did that happen? Hold on a second. Wait, I said level 3, didn't I? I'm very smart, guys. Hold on. Alright, level 3, level 3. There we go. Perfect. Alright, the reason why I don't use the level, the heavy variation of the air Z ability is because if you want to use a level 3 super, it'll kind of mess you up low-key. And I do not mean to do that, but I don't know. For me, it messes me up. It may not mess you up, but for me, it does. Well, actually, sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. It's very weird. I'll try it with a heavy. Wow, that actually looked pretty cool. Alright, hold on a second. Yeah, that one does work too, actually. So yeah, I don't know. For me, it's a little hard to pull off, but it's possible. It's possible. Okay. So in case an opponent, since Goku is a grabber, as you guys can see there, if the opponent is blocking, then when you try to grab them in that step, you'll miss, and that gives them a huge open window for them to hit you. So to avoid that, as soon as you start hitting them with these two and they're blocking, then you'll want to hit them with a down attack and try to extend it there, as you guys can see there. And that goes for like all characters, by the way. It doesn't have to be just UI Goku or just grabbers. It's just a bit more effective, I suppose, with grabber characters.
Not what I was thinking. Denied. Right here. Maximum power.
There we go.
Let's go.
There you go. So you guys can do that too as well. I also like to use the Z Vanish teleportation with the Dragon Rush every time as well, like so. To use 3 supers. And again, that goes for all characters. So, like so. There we go. There we go. Okay. Let's try using Z abilities as well in the air. Actually, no, that's not gonna work. Hold on.
You're not going anywhere. Right here.
There we go. And there we go. That's level 1. Super. Okay. And let's try doing level 3.
Right here.
There we go. Perfect. That works just fine. Keep in mind, guys, that if you're gonna do the Z Vanish to extend your combo as well, after you properly extend your combo, don't start a combo with a Dragon Rush, because it actually won't work. See, then you won't be able to pull this off. So I'll showcase that real quick. See, don't start it like this, and then try to use that, because it's not gonna work. See, it will never land. Never. So don't start it with a Dragon Rush. If you're gonna use a Dragon Rush to extend your combo, don't use it. Okay. So, another thing you can do if you guys are like really scared if the opponent's really crazy and they're blocking way too much and you don't want to be close to them, another thing you can do is let me see. No, I think it's this one. Yeah, you guys can use this one. No, not that one, sorry. This one. And it'll always land even if they're guarding, which is crazy. Okay, another thing you can do is this one, the medium one, and you can actually connect it with a super. I'll showcase that real quick. See? And let's do a level 3.
Got you now. This is everything I've got.
See, it works every time. So you guys can do that too if you want. Let me see. So if they're really far, make sure you use the heavy one or the medium one, because it goes across all screen. But don't use it when you're when you're like this close to them or even this close, because that, as you guys can see, it leaves you like a big window for them to hit you. So if you're this close or even this close, then use the light one, which is much faster, as you guys can see.
There you go.
But as you guys can see, though, the range for it is not very good for the light one. So it really just depends how close you are to them that you want to.
Got you now. This is it. What not?
All right. Let me see. If you guys use this one, which I know a lot of people don't, because A, they don't know that that's even a thing or it exists, and 2, they just don't know how to implement it. But let's see. Yeah, no, there's really no way to implement that, honestly. Yeah, but you can connect it with a level 1 super and extend it like this. And it'll always work.
That's smart.
So that's basically the basic, I guess, that I can give you guys of Goku, UI Goku, like how to use them, at least a little bit better than, I guess, a person with no knowledge would. Because, you know, he's a pretty technical character, and I'm still learning how to use him. To be honest, he's definitely not my main yet. Far from it, actually. But I think I can use him pretty decently, to say the least. And I think that'll wrap up this live stream of learning with me when it comes to FighterZ. So I hope you guys did learn something. I hope you guys learned how to extend your auto combos, and, you know, I hope it can definitely improve your game, and, you know, that you can have fun with your friends this time, and they don't, you know, murder you guys in one go, because I know what that feels like. You know, it's not very cool, especially online PvP. Yeah, it's pretty hard to stand up to that. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and make sure to check out the other videos that explain the same exact thing, and, you know, slow-mo and everything for your convenience. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. So if you guys have any questions or anything like that regarding this, just, you know, comment down below. I'll try to answer all of them to the best of my abilities. And yeah, I hope you guys, you know, enjoyed. Alright, well, this is Shift Gaming. You know, wow, I can't believe I just messed up my own outro there. Well, anyway, like I was saying, this is Shift Gaming, signing off. See you guys.
Keep trying. You're not going anywhere. I'm right here.